Today, Her Majesty the Queen opened the very first International Garden Festival in Liverpool. Bob Greaves and Bob Smithies present highlights of the day's events.
Welcome to the biggest outdoor event in this country since the Festival of Britain in 1951, and this event is growing in more ways than one. Crowds of specially invited guests have arrived here to witness Her Majesty the Queen opening Britain's first ever International Garden Festival in Liverpool on the banks of the Mersey. Before we show you some of the glories of this site, let's see Her Majesty arriving earlier at the Fulwood entrance to the International Garden Festival.
Well, the Queen and Prince Philip arrived absolutely smack on schedule at the northeast gate leading from a place called St Michael's in the Hamlet, a former village swallowed up by Liverpool back in the 19th century. And there to greet her, resplendent in his uniform, the Lord Lieutenant of Merseyside, Wing Commander Kenneth Stoddard. Introduced to Leslie Young, the chairman of the Merseyside Development Corporation, to Lord Aberconway, who is the festival's Commissioner General, Patrick Jenkin, the Secretary of State for the Environment, of course, and Basil Bean, the Chief Executive of the Merseyside Development Corporation. She talks to Leslie Young, who is one of the leading lights behind this quite astonishing development of this site. Patrick Jenkin, I can tell you, knows a bit about gardens and bricks. Not dropping them, I didn't say that. He's built his own brick wall in his garden at home and rumoured now to be building himself something of a pond. Doubtless picked up a few tips today. And little short of a blooming miracle has taken place here in the last 2.5 years. The 60 acres at the heart of the site were covered with oil storage tanks. In some areas, rubbish was 30 feet deep. 1 million tonnes of earth and garbage was taken away. And if they didn't have enough troubles, quite early on, methane gas from the decaying rubbish came bubbling to the surface, threatening to kill any plants around. Well, there are now many more tulips out to mark the opening day of the festival, but the official opening came, of course, with the Queen unveiling a plaque in the arena area of the festival site.
Some people have probably wondered about the relevance of organising a garden festival in a derelict area of Liverpool. I think it is most appropriate. The wonderful feature of nature is its powers of renewal. Plants wither and die, but with the coming of spring, growth begins again. The gardens and exhibitions blooming on this site are symbolic of what we all wish for Liverpool.
Well, the speech over, the plaque was unveiled. Each country taking part in, there is the plaque, simple, effective, blue-black Welsh slate, gold lettering. Each country taking part in Liverpool 84's Garden Festival has its flag on display, and as they were being raised, you could see that the title International Garden Festival is fully justified. The school children of Merseyside joined in the fun by letting off balloons. There were 2,000 of them, I can tell you, I counted every single one, and there's an aerial shot over the festival hall. But during the months of preparation for this day, not everything in the garden was coming up roses. Today's ceremony has been attended by some members of Liverpool City Council, but earlier last year it seemed there could be an international garden festival in Liverpool without the involvement of the homegrown Liverpool City Council. It declined to subsidise the gardens directly because the council is notoriously short of money for other projects. But while dignitaries from Merseyside and the world watched, in the British Pavilion in Merseyside, it was hard at work, preparing an extra special lunch. A lot of us get very nervous, even when we're just cooking for friends. But have you ever thought what it's like to cook for the Queen and the royal family? Well, John Roberts here is a 34-year-old head chef from Birkenhead. Hello, John.
Hello.
And you've been busily preparing a rather special, in fact, unique festival mousse for the Queen. What's in it? What's it made of?
Basically, it's made of avocados, wines, various herbs, an infusion of herbs, cream, egg whites, and one or two other little items, and I'm not going to tell you anything about it.
You mean it's secret ingredients job,
It's nothing secret about it. Everybody can buy it in the shops, but I'm just not going to tell you what it is.
It's your combination.
It is my combination.
That makes it unique.
That makes it possibly unique.
Right. Well, in the age-old question, have you got one prepared that I can taste, please?
I have indeed.
Down there.
Down there.
Am I going to like it? It looks jolly good. It sounds good, I must say.
and taste. I'm going to have a second little globber of that, I think, if I may. Absolutely delicious, John. I know that mange too don't grow on Merseyside, and I know that bananas and kiwi fruits don't grow on Merseyside, but what about the salmon? Is that from the Mersey?
Yeah, we've had it just upstream from the Ellesmere Port Dock.
I thought you might say that, yes. Where's it from, really? Scotland?
It is a Scotch salmon, yes.
When you prepare this meal for the Queen and Prince Philip and other dignitaries, is there still a sense of very special occasion and something could go wrong?
Oh, most certainly. Even though I've prepared dishes for royalty and dignitaries in the past, I still feel the adrenaline pumping, even on these occasions, most certainly. There is a lot that can go wrong with cooking, with producing foods of this quality.
Do you think the Queen could have knocked this up, knowing what you don't know or do know about her culinary arts?
Well, most certainly, yeah. I think she could knock it up if she's got a kitchen large enough. And I've spent 18 years developing my skills to be able to knock it up, so I think possibly she'll be able to do the same thing.
And I'm sure the Queen enjoyed it, having worked up an appetite walking around the gardens, but she also spent a fair amount of time travelling on one of the 3 miniature railways running every day until the festival closes in October. You can glimpse many of the festival's most spectacular gardens from the steam trains, each with 8 carriages carrying about 160 passengers. The Queen, of course, had a coach of her own. Just round the corner from the Priory Wood railway station is one of the prettiest and most unexpected gardens you might find on the edge of a pool in deepest Liverpool. A real contrast to the essentially Liverpudlian gardens, only 2 miles away, but that's by rail.
It was an informal walkabout round the community gardens, by now bathed in warm sunshine and warmer colours. The Queen and Prince Philip looked relaxed as they chatted to members of the Diggers Community Garden Project, old hands at preparing community gardens in Liverpool, even though the conversation seemed at times to be at cross purposes.
It was a regal nod, actually, and then the Duke inquired about the horses, about which we know absolutely nothing, nothing to do with us.
Did you pretend you knew, or were you...
No, I just confessed total ignorance, and we tried to tell him about the Liverpool Echo posters, which we do know about. By that time, he was legging it off to the next garden.
Yes. Did she seem impressed?
Well, she didn't see enough to be impressed. She surely saw this.
The Queen also chatted to Fiona MacDonald and Sarah Mann, who'd helped create the controversial witch garden. There'd been some local opposition to that idea, but the Queen seemed interested.
Good witches, we said.
Yeah.
We were good witches.
But you're not witches at all, really, are you?
No. No, no.
So you actually lied to the monarch?
Everything there is very witchy. All the trees, for instance, these trees here, as you go through the entrance, they all signify getting rid of the devil and things like that.
So everything's very symbolic.
Yeah. Oh, it is, very.
And it's good.
It all blends in.
But perhaps the most memorable meeting was with Papa Johnson, who at 106 claims to be Merseyside's oldest man. Born in Sierra Leone, he came to Liverpool in 1913. Today, he sat proudly outside the Liverpool Street Garden, waiting for a chat with the Queen.
Well, the Queen said to me, how long we be here, so I told him, if we make it in the family. In here, I say yes, but no overseas. I was 16 and never been in this part of the world.
And what did you think of the Queen?
Well, very nice. It's my mother, the world mother.
You think of her a bit as your mother, do you?
Oh, yes, it's mother to us.
Has this been a very special day for you, Papa?
Oh, yes, a very special day for me.
And what do you think of the gardens and everything?
Well, very nice, very nice. Liverpool people waking up this president.
Yes. And one crucial question, I mean, what's the secret of long life?
Well, if you behave yourself, kind, and another thing,
mind your own business.
My own business. You say don't look after nobody's business, you see. Well, I am seaman. I've been the sea all my life, but still, I take care of myself.
Did you ever think you'd meet the Queen?
I don't think, but I saw I go meet him because I am still Liverpool, didn't I? I am Scouser, Liverpool Scouts.
Not often you see a Queen going toward a yellow submarine in the middle of a garden festival. This is the Beatles Maze, designed by Minotaur Designs, visited by the Queen this morning, who was suitably amazed. The whole thing is filled with hidden musical jokes. The overall shape is an apple. Listening ears are hidden in the path shapes, and stepping stones are shaped either as apple pips or, around the submarine, as musical notes. Yellow Submarine itself was inclined at a 7-degree angle. It was built in 8 weeks from scrap metal given away by British shipbuilders. And it was built by 80 youth training scheme lads from Birkenhead. As we see the Queen entering the submarine, let's look at its launch on February the 29th. There it is, on the other side of the Mersey.
people can see that we've done a good job on it, and we've finished it on time, and we can just hope that people will notice this and perhaps give us jobs.
Well, the Queen visited, and she went right through the submarine, and she popped out at the top. And it's not every day you'll see a Queen popping out onto a conning tower with Prince Philip, and I think that's... Yes, she's being pointed out something. There's one of the aerial shots of the site. Perhaps the highlight of the day for many people, in fact, is the Japanese garden, because its theme is peace and tranquility, and it's where the Queen certainly found a touch of that in this nice secluded little corner of this 125-acre site. She was greeted by the Japanese Commissioner General, Mr. Imanishi, and his interpreter. The Japanese garden, in fact, has been built by 6 or 7 Japanese workmen. The numbers fluctuated a little over the last 6 months, but sometimes 7, sometimes 6. Just by those few men, they built it all with their own hands, and all the plants in the garden, with I think one exception of a tree peony, have in fact, although they're genuinely Japanese, come from this country, because it appears we have a thriving business in Japanese plants, trees and shrubs. You can see what I mean by peace and tranquility. The waterfall there. If you go to the Liverpool Garden Festival, the Japanese garden is a must, and just across the water from it, although you can't see it, across an open stretch of water, is the Chinese garden. So the coming together of the East on Merseyside. This entire garden is being donated by the people of Japan to the people of Liverpool.
Rodney, why so pleased that this garden in particular should become a permanent feature?
Well, of course, when the Japanese came to discuss their participation in the festival, they wanted a lakeside site if they could get it, and that suited us as well. And they wanted then to gift it to the citizens of Liverpool in perpetuity. So that's why we've got a magnificent garden which will remain after the festival as a Japanese garden on the lake here in Liverpool. All the rock for the rockscapes and the floors, in fact, came from a quarry. In fact, a quarry had closed down near Bala Reservoir, and a local supplier managed to twist the arm of his contact and get the quarry opened, so it could look, if you like, a mature, settled garden immediately, and that proved very successful, and they're very happy.
It's certainly a successful garden. How does it compare with the Chinese one over there?
We know a lot about Japanese gardens, or at least we think we do, but very few people really know about Chinese gardens, and there is, although they are both oriental, there are quite distinctive differences. The tea pavilion in this Japanese garden is very, very nice, low-key, timber structure, whereas the 2 corridor pavilions in the Chinese garden are highly decorated, because they come from the Emperor's Garden in Peking, or modelled on similar structures there, and they come from the Qing dynasty, where they went in for very highly decorated structures and are quite fabulous. They reckon, the organisers from China, that there has never been, certainly in the last 30 years, any structures of that type having left China.
In fact, with Rodney Beaumont, the festival design coordinator, it has been a mammoth task and a successful one. People might argue about the £23 million or so they say it's cost, that it could have been spent more wisely, but putting those arguments aside, Liverpool has built itself a bit of a treat of a garden. But it's not simply a garden. If you like to look at modern sculptures, they're all around the place. There's a lot of fun in the festival too. Thousands of events between now and October, ranging from a teddy bears convention, Shades of Brideshead revisited, a Singapore dragon dance competition, and a Liverpool ladies barbershop sing-along. That's just an idea of them. They expect up to 3 million visitors at £3.50 a head. You can get a family ticket at £9. And just a few facts and figures about what's in the garden itself. 250,000 trees and shrubs, 1/3 bulbs, 200,000 spring bedding plants, and in the end, by October, I can guarantee, having tramped around it myself, countless sore feet from the gravel driveways and paths. The organisers say that everybody who comes here will have a smashing time, but some are going to have more of a smashing time than others, because on Monday there'll be teams of people here knocking the living daylights out of derelict pianos like this, because the festival's about fun as well as about flowers.
Well, we've got a practice session lined up with the Halewood Sports Centre Savage Session Keep Fit class. Let's see how savage they can be in about half a minute or so. Your sledgehammer, Captain Lou. Great. A change of mood, a change of atmosphere, and to a note of decorum as the Queen walks towards the festival hall, known to many of us now through its picture on the current 16-pence stamp. The hall itself, there's a shot of it from the air, is stunning. It's built on almost sculptured lines from a competition winner design submitted by Arup. It was paid for by a leading multinational with factories on Merseyside. Overall sponsorship, partly at the insistence of Michael Heseltine, who stressed that some of the cost must be borne by the private sector, has amounted to £2.6 million. And it's played a significant part in getting the festival from the drawing board and into the flower bed. Amounts range from £50 to sponsor a festival guide's bicycle to £150,000 towards the festival hall building. Well, the Queen made her way round in one direction, Prince Philip circled in the other. Among the things they could see is, having had a healthy walk to get there, you can check on your health, not with a doctor, but via a computer, which I'm told has a good bedside manner. The hall is also the site's communications headquarters, and Prince Philip did the official opening today. Systems masterminded by a computer giving information via 20 data viewpoints scattered outdoors. So if you get lost, and it's easily done on a site of this size, you can always try asking a passing computer terminal rather than the usual policeman. Well, after that lunch we talked about in the British Pavilion, the Queen went on safari, you might say, through the international gardens, 28 of them there are, where there was certainly plenty for her to admire. For example, just round the corner from where she is now, you can look at a Turkish coffee house with garden, or the Dutch gardens with a spectacular windmill. The international gardens are a great deal of what the International Garden Festival is about, and each has been done absolutely magnificently. I might just say...
No. Well, hey?